Welcome back to Wisdom Rising. This week's episode, we are talking about somatic healing processes along with meditative mindfulness and how shamanism plays a role. I'm really excited because not only do we have really delightful conversations, but we're also drop you into two different somatic practices, one offered by myself and one offered by Shantel Ochoa, my co-lead on the conversation. So I hope you enjoy this episode. And note that we have many offerings coming up. So if you are interested, please check out those show notes. We have our Archetypes and Soul Contracts Masterclass coming up March 2nd. We have Intro to Tantra with myself and Jim McDonald starting March 11th. We have our Art of Ceremonial Spaces, our second facilitator training starting March 17th, and so much more on the horizon. So be sure to check out our events page on our website at moonrisinginstitute.com, and I hope you enjoy this episode. So welcome everyone to our Whispers of Wisdom. I'm joined with Shantel Ochoa, and today I'm excited for our topic of interest because it's very alive in me right now. I feel like it's alive in a lot of people of returning to the self, and really recognizing what is happening within us. So whether that is through somatic practices, mindfulness, or shamanic practices, like we're a wealth of information. And I've been doing a lot of trainings and sessions and different group dynamic work, and it all lands here. And I love returning to this topic again and again and again because mindfulness, somatic work, and shamanic practices all kind of blend together at some point. And it's so beautiful when we mix modalities this way and really have this return. It's a return to the self and inviting your clients, your participants to return back inward for their information.
Yeah. So I would like to hear in our comments who is feeling that stretch and pull, that challenge right now that feels like you're doing 1,000 things at once and we're really needing to come back to self, right? Because I know that we were just talking about that and we're feeling that, right? And so it's I think it's a collective energy that's happening for sure. And so individually we're all having to say, all right, you know what? I got a million things going on and I'm feeling lost. So now it's time for me to go back within and find my center point, my presence, so that I can say, okay, now I can be in balance. So let's find our balance. Ooh, you're getting good compliments. Let's find our balance within.
Right. Well, and I think
Nice, Nancy.
I know. Yeah, I think that there's so much truth to that. So it's this it's diving inwards. Like, so before we jumped on the call, I was telling Chantel how the news, the input from my Facebook feed, all of these things were pushing in on me, and I'm an empath, and so I easily absorb. Like I might not be purposefully looking at things, and yet it shows up in my dream space. And so I had to take a break from my Facebook and my feed. Like I couldn't be constantly going there because I am very often on Facebook checking notifications, posting about our events, like trying to be on it and aware of what our community members are doing out in the world, all of those things. Like I enjoy that. And I try to bloom scroll as much as possible, meaning I'm looking for positive content. Like I want my feed to be full of positive things. And recently, there are world things happening that's making our community and the people who follow me be sharing on a lot of different topics. And it got to a point where I'm like, I just need to take a break, because even though it wasn't people that I followed or people that were following me, it was still showing me content that was driven by our current culture, our current cultural awareness.
Yeah,
And
it changed your algorithm.
it changed my algorithm. I'm like, it's not bloom scrolling anymore. Like, this is not okay. Not okay. So it was this recognition of like, okay, when there's too much sensory input externally that's affecting our mindscape, what do we do? What do we do? How do we shift? And I love that question because so many of us have tools in our toolbox, and it's having to turn away from one like external input and shift to our own internal input of what are we feeling? What is this bringing up in us? Where do we feel it in our body? What does that look like? And just having that shift brings in an intimacy relationship with self.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah, because you can recognize where you are internally by your external world. And that's kind of what we were talking, I was explaining to you was, yeah, my external world is starting to really reflect what I'm feeling inside. And so now I know I need to go and start purging and clearing some spaces out so that I can be opening up what's inside of me to start purging that, right? Because if they're mirroring each other right now, one's got to give. So if I can't emotionally purge or I can't do the internal work right now without the external work, I'm going to start there. I'm going to start with clearing some spaces, moving some things around, because that's what I'm needing right now to feel in balance. So when I walk through my home, I'm not feeling like, oh my God, there's 1,000 things to do in my house right now, or that's starting to get cluttered, that's starting to stack up. And then just saying, okay, that's what I'm feeling. Because I have a lot of people in my life right now that have needed me in a different way than I've been than I am used to right now.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I've been giving that space for it. And so I think I've been kind of losing myself in it. And now it's reflecting in all areas. So I'm like, okay, it's time. But
Right.
that's going to that inner voice that says, hey, self-check, where are you at? How are you doing? You
Well,
know?
and it's so interesting, like your external input is in your home space, right? Like, and
Yeah.
my external input is coming from my Facebook feed, right? And so it's kind of like, okay, listeners, what's your external input that's coming in and how are you responding to it? Right? Like this is an example of it could be coming in from different places and spaces. What's the thing that's really sucking your energy and going, what control do I have over it? Right? So I'm still on Facebook. It's not like I quit my account. It's that no, I'm going to have to sit and intentionally go to my computer to do my work. Right? And Chantel's control is I'm going to take one task at a time and start purging. Right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So it is, it's no matter how it's coming at you, right? It's our internal frequency that is sending it out and it's attaching or it's connecting to the chaos in the world, your inner world, your outer world, collective world, but it's the frequency that we're vibing at. And so when you see that, that's when we do that mindfulness and that mind shift and say, okay, I need to change this, because then it does bring in that intimate relationship with yourself. It helps you to see things from a different perspective. But we don't always look at it like that. A lot of times people turn into that, what's happening, why is this happening to me? And it's like, no, take the more empowered voice if possible and say, I'm going to shut this off for a minute. I'm going to go clear and cleanse that. And then I'm going to bring some balance in and then recheck. So it's always like coming back in and rechecking and recalibrating with yourself.
Yeah. Well, you know what reminds me of is my daughter carries a lot of heavy energy. And I was feeling so good the other day. I felt like I finally had turned a corner. I was like, okay, I'm finally healthy and I have energy and I'm going to go home and I'm going to get things done. I walked into my house and I was like, and now I'm tired and I'm going to go take a nap. And I did. I took a nap and I was like, there's sleepy energy in my house and I need to like clear it up, clean it out. And, I think it goes to show that we there's a variety of things. And when you go, okay, it's time to have an internal self-check and an evaluation, feeling into your space and what somatic or mindfulness or shamanic practices or some blend thereof, what's going to help you really tune in. And I I love this world because so much of it can be playful. It's enjoyable to tune in and go, I'm going to dance just to move my body and feel the rhythm of the music. I'm not in a analysis place in my brain. Like I'm not thinking of the things. I'm moving. I'm flowing. What does that feel like? What is when I sit for a mindfulness practice, what shows up? So this just the other day, I did a Osho Divavani meditation, and it was so incredibly powerful. And the first 15 minutes you sit inside, well, you sit with music. The music is playing, but you're supposed to basically be still and be internal. And what happens in that time when you have a 15-minute timer set with some gentle music on, what shows up compared to what is the next step in that meditation? That's more of a somatic experience. And I find it interesting if so many people, and myself included, for years and years and years, run away from what is going on internally. Like to actually sit with ourselves can be so terrifying.
So
And
terrifying. It
right?
really is. It is a practice of its own to be able to sit with yourself, to sit with your thoughts, your emotions, your physical body, even to scan and feel where the aches and pains are, to ask questions of why are you here? What are you showing me? What's the message? Coming to your emotions and recognizing them and honoring them for what they are here to do, right? And then letting them gently release and go and shift and transmute and then the mind, oh my gosh, when the mind is overpowering and it's like the analytical mind, the overthinker, that is really, really difficult to step out of. And so there are so many easy steps and so many practices that we can do just to go from mind to heart,
Yeah.
just in a few deep breaths, dropping down, closing the mind, just tuning in and allowing those subtle messages to come through. Because that's when we're really connecting with our intuition, our inner voice, and then that's what we listen to.
Yeah.
This is the mind is we're always trying to listen to the mind because the mind is really powerful and loud. But when we go to the heart, it's very subtle and soft. But that's the true voice. That's what we need to follow when we're trying to be guided and led.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's really interesting. So I'm teaching a facilitator's training right now. And one of the techniques that we're teaching is meditative somatic techniques. How do you support not only yourself but your participants in a group setting of how do you help them drop in and tune into yourself? And so much of that is the somatic purpose is to notice what you notice, what's going on in your body, and is there messages there for you? And so when we do these meditation techniques of the heart drop or the body scan, it's inviting people who are usually not doing this on a regular basis to have the self-awareness of, wow, there's a lot of tension here. And what
Mhm.
does that feel like? And if we can give it a shape or a color or an emotion, what's there? And one of the somatic practices I was teaching last night was how do you invite that in where you're recognizing the color, the shape, the size, the movement of whatever tension or feeling you have in your body and letting it teach you, letting it unveil deeper messages that are within you. And this
Mhm.
is such a juicy practice where we can just get curious of what is there? What is the body trying to tell me? What is the body trying to speak to me? What story needs to be told?
And I'm thinking this might be a new concept for some of our listeners. They're like, what are you talking about? Like tuning into the body and listening to the messages. And it's so important to do it. So if it is new to you, it's a total invitation to drop in and ask your body, like, why are you hurting? Right? It might take you to a memory. It might take you to some past, situation, an accident, something that has occurred. But once you have that awareness, you can start to work through the energy of that and let it start to heal itself and release it and not have the attachment to it.
Yeah.
Not having the attachment of, oh, I'm sick or I'm suffering in pain, right? Because once you have the message, then you can do something with it.
Yeah.
And the movement is just this added beautiful like aspect to it to say, okay, I'm going to shift it through movement. I'm going to shift it through breath, thought work, anything like that. So if it is something that is new to you, I would even like to maybe do that at the end of this call,
I
do
was
like
to
a
say, like,
little
let's just
small,
do a little demo. Like, I'm down
yeah,
because,
let's do that.
yeah. Should we just do it right now?
Yeah, let's do it right now.
Okay. Do you want, I, can I lead?
You can lead this one, and then I'll do a short one after that. That's just dropping into the breath. So you do one right now.
Okay, I love it.
I love this.
So
Yes.
know that this is totally spontaneous, and here we go. So as long as you're listening and not driving, and you're in a safe place to participate, I would like to invite you to close your eyes and start taking some nice deep breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and just feeling the breath movement, feeling the lungs expand, feeling the chest open, the belly expand. Exhale, letting all of that breath out, blowing it out, sighing it out, whatever feels good to you. And then as we do this, just inviting yourself to let your body relax and become heavy. So letting the legs become heavy and relaxed, letting the belly soften and move with ease with the breath, letting the shoulders drop, letting the arms and hands become heavy and relaxed, letting the jaw relax, the facial muscles relax, letting the tongue fall from the roof of the mouth, and breathe. Noticing what you notice, noticing what you feel, noticing if there is any tension in your body that with the breath hasn't eased or soothed, and bring your awareness to that space. Noticing where it is in your body, noticing if it has a color, a shape, an emotion. Is it in movement or is it still? Does it want to grow or shrink? Noticing the emotion that's attached to it. And as you become aware of the emotion, just say hello to it. Hello, emotion. I see you there. And then become curious about it. How does it want to move? What does it desire? Does it have a message for you? What may that be? For what purpose is it giving you attention, drawing your attention in? What chakra is nearby? Is there wisdom there in that? And when we feel into the motion, notice how the color, the shape, the movement may change and shift. And as we get curious about the emotion, notice if it's hiding a deeper emotion, something beneath it. Is there something beneath that? More and more curiosity arrives as we say hello to the newer, deeper emotions, recognizing how the color, the energy of it shifts and moves or stays still. And we just thank the information that we're receiving. Not trying to fix it, just being aware of it, saying hello to it. I see you there. I recognize you. I'm available to hear your messages, your stories. What does it need? What does it want? Once again, this is about curiosity. And as we follow that curiosity, we allow it to move, allow it to transform if it so desires to. We're just being present with it. And with that awareness, we're going to bring our awareness back into our breath, inhaling and exhaling, noticing our body sitting on the surface beneath us once again, giving our body a stretch, wiggling our fingers and toes. And when you're ready, fluttering open your eyes and coming all the way back to your present, noticing what messages. So in the moment, we're in the experience, we're in the somatic process, we're fully with our body, with the mindfulness. And then as we come out, this is when we invite our mind to analyze, to figure out any symbology, to try to figure out the pieces. That's the integration work. So you have the activity, like you're in it, you're fully in the process, and then we move into integration. What does it mean? What messages did I have? What action steps do I need to take moving forward? How is that for you, Shantel?
It was great. So I tuned into my throat because I have a cold, I have a cough. And so on the surface, yeah, I'm like, okay, my grandkids have been sick and I have that. But when I went deeper, it was showing me that I'm actually not keeping promises to myself about um like health or movement. Like I'm not like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do some kind of exercising. I'm not moving my lungs. And so the inflammation can settle there because I'm not doing the work that I need to do to move it. And so I'm so focused right now on all the external things and people and their situations that I need to tune in, like I was saying before, but it's showing up like that. So it was like showing me where the inflammation is. And so I have a vibration plate, which I
Mhm.
love. And if, yeah, I love them. So then it's really good for the lymphatic system. And so it's automatically, it's already showing me like you need to be on that every day, and just let your body like shake and move. And then I can invite other things in. But that's a really great foundation to just wake up to, do that movement, let the body shake what needs to be shaken, and yeah, open up the lungs.
Yeah.
So
So
very
many
nice.
so many of these practices remind me of my tantric work because even
Hmm.
that shaking that vibration plate, there's a streaming exercise where literally you're shaking your body until it's doing it completely on its own, right? And so
Yeah.
it's recognizing that if we set that analytical mind aside and allow the free flow movement in our body, what shows up, what's in the way, what needs to come and be expressed or processed or purged within the body, right? And so even as you were speaking of your lungs, I was like, oh yeah, I had that cough a couple weeks ago and I did a quantum light breath. And it's a circular breathing where it's very rapid. It's and constantly for an hour,
Oh, wow.
right? Like it is
Yeah.
like it's like bringing things to the extreme because you can find your edges there and you're bringing your body to a place where it's in motion, it's in movement. And as you're in this energy of movement, that's when emotions can be expressed. The grief, the joy, the ecstasy, the sadness, whatever it may be that's been held in your body gets to move. And
Yeah.
we're going to keep moving it throughout the practice. Even if you have to slow yourself down, you're still like, okay, I'm in it. I'm committed to like, okay, I can do at least this piece. And so there's always this movement piece with tantric work and it's somatic. It's all somatic.
And it's important because we can become very stagnant in the body. Depending on what people do for work and all that, the body can become very stagnant. And I think too, as people age, they feel like oh, I'm just getting older, so I have aches and pains. And then we don't want to stretch those aches and pains. We want to nurture them. We want to keep them in this safe little bubble. But what happens is you're actually making it worse.
Right.
So if we're not stretching the joints and we're not stretching the muscles and our ligaments and all the things, we're making them rigid and more stagnant. And so as we get older, it's just going to get worse. So it's important when we are feeling all of that, go and stretch it and move it, and so that it's not getting stuck,
Yeah.
because it's just energy that's stuck. We don't
Yes.
have to age old. We can age gracefully. We can age in power. We can age and let our body continue to move.
Yeah. Yeah. I was doing a dance practice in my women's tantric class that I have on Wednesday mornings here in town. And one of our participants came in. She's like, I've got a lot of lower back pain today. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, listen to your body. And we're still going to move for 20 minutes of dancing. You move to the
Mm,
level in which you feel you have the capacity to. And at the same time, the more she moved in the beginning and gave herself that opportunity of gentle stretch, which she had been resisting, by the
Mm-hmm.
end of the practice, she was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. And I don't know how many times I've heard that exact same story. Like I come in with everything is cramped and tight. And think about your life. Do you feel cramped? Do you feel tight? Do you feel stagnant? Do you feel constriction? Right? And what's going to help the body awaken and move into its flow? And it's like we have to welcome in the dance. We have to welcome in this body awareness of what does it need right now? How can we bring in that breath so that we can help shift the sensory of what's happening within us? Oh, just
Yes.
so juicy.
It really is. And I mean, that didn't take very long to do at all. It's just dropping in. So I would like to introduce an even shorter version of
Mhm.
that for someone who only has a few moments to tune in.
I love it.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. So this one is when you feel that you are all up in your head and maybe you're trying to make a decision, maybe you're trying to figure some things out. So you're over analytical, you're really just in your head. So I want to bring this in so we can go from the mind, from our ego and our thoughts into our heart. So again, let's go ahead, close our eyes. We're going to take in 3 deep breaths, breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth. And with each breath, you're just going to feel yourself sinking into the seat beneath you. You're going to feel yourself relaxing, your shoulders relaxing. You're going to feel your mind starting to relax. And then you're going to take in 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your nose. And allowing all energies, thoughts, and emotions to transmute through breath, being released from the body. And now you're going to bring your awareness from your mind into your heart and feel that shift. Feel your chest opening, your heart expanding, filling into love and compassion, just filling into your heartbeat and the rise and fall of your chest. And just notice how much more inner peace you feel here. And now allowing yourself to ask the question that your analytical mind is trying to figure it out. Ask it from your heart and allow that message to come through. And know whatever you receive is the truth for you. Don't think it away. Don't talk it away. Just accept it for what it is. So allowing it to imprint on your heart for a moment. Taking one more deep cleansing breath and bringing yourself all the way back. Opening your eyes, feeling more relaxed and centered.
Mhm. So
And
yummy.
how is that?
Oh,
Right?
it's so yummy. Right? I think that's the key is letting people realize that this can be a very short intentional practice. It doesn't have to take long to tune in.
No.
We have to be able to give ourselves permission to do it. And so as I dropped into the heart space and I was like, what message needs to arrive here through my heart space? It said my heart is safe, right? And I think part of it is recognizing, and as all these external pressures are pushing in, as we put ourselves out in the world, like I have myself and some current clients that are really working through their witch's wound, right? And it's like, am I safe? Is my heart safe in this? If I speak about this, if I put myself out there, am I safe? And my
Mm-hmm.
heart is like, yes, you're safe. I'm the only one who can allow in something that can damage my heart, right? It's
Yes.
right. And so
Very
it's
true.
a free will choice. You might not feel it that way, but my heart says, I am safe. So I'm safe to talk about the things that excite me. I'm safe to talk about and show up in the world the way I do. And recognizing where have I resisted? Where have I not been even more of me? I think everyone thinks that I'm like fully like, and I try like, but I think there's even more. Like I still would love to do more channeling work, more really offering soulful message that comes through. And I take those and I just tuck them in for me and put them in my journal, right? And they're messages for the world. And yet I'm like, and so I think that's where that heart message is coming from. I'm like, I'm safe. I'm
Yeah, you're safe. That's nice. But you also have to trust that. You have to believe that.
right.
And that's where that self-doubt comes in. So
That's
when
where
you're
the mind comes
listening
in.
here, yeah, because when the mind is the one telling you you're safe, but you haven't dropped into the heart, it's hard to believe it. But
Yeah.
once you get into the heart space and the heart says you are safe because you're speaking to your spirit, you're speaking to your soul, like your highest version. So it's like you are safe, you are good. And I also think that, sometimes tucking away certain things are seeds that get to grow and bloom, and they will come forward at some point when they're really ready to be. When
Yeah.
you're ready to introduce them to the world, you will.
Right. Well, and I think this goes to, I truly believe everyone is meant to shine their light. Everyone is meant to find the space that they are living in love and compassion and kindness and whatever drives them, whatever makes them uniquely themselves. And so one of our Soul Rising graduates just messaged and said, take the coursework. They'll help you understand all of this. And it's so true because it's the whole point of Soul Rising, our 4-month program, is really to allow yourself to awaken to all of who you are and have the tools and the teachings so that you can come up with what's going to work for you, what rituals, what strategies are going to help you formulate your own way of tuning into yourself. So it's not a cookie cutter program. I don't want people to do it my way. I want you to do it your way of what's going to light me up, what's going to help me tune into my space. And sometimes for people, that's stepping outside during the sunrise and watching the sun rise above the horizon and offering their prayers. And other people, it's going to be coming to their altar. And other people, it's going to be doing breath work. And other people, it's going for a walk in nature. And there are so many ways of being exactly who you are that's going to help you drop into that heart space. And it's
Yeah.
so key. It's so key.
It's so important. And I do see that that is like that thread throughout all of our courses here,
Yes.
whether it's a master class, it's a course, whatever, is we are really focused on you finding you.
Yes.
This is really about like it's the me movement, you know? So what do I need to know about me? There's so many things like everyone wants to be in the collective or am I a star seed? What planet am I from? Yes, there is all that. I love all of those conversations. But if you don't know you and you don't know how you work and operate, none of that other stuff really matters because all that what happens is you start following the trend. You got those squirrel movements, where a lot of people who don't know who they are, they just jump on one thing to the next thing, and so it's important because when you do know who you are, then you're really going to stand for what you believe in, what you trust. You're going to be able to support the people in your life. You're going to be able to set boundaries for yourself and say, no, this is too much for me right now. And so it's okay. It's okay to come back to your own self and know you so that then you can really pour into others. And so I do love that that is what we do here is
Yes.
literally like we are going to show you and help you walk your walk to find you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
there's nothing more
absolutely.
powerful than that.
Well, and I'm just thinking what you just said, like, this isn't just about soul rising. Everything that we do at Moon Rising Shamanic Institute is this me movement. It is that's, I mean, I'm thinking about your archetype class. The reason why we study archetypes is to understand ourselves better, understand our weaknesses, understand our strengths, and how do we alchemize and move through and process and going, this is a part of me. This isn't something that I should shun or resist or push away. How can I mature it into its highest version and its most significant blessings that it can bring, right? Like no one
Yeah.
has the same exact archetypes, right? Like that is a
No.
perfect example. And same
And
thing
when
with,
you know them, you can see them. Like I was telling you about my friend who's going through some stuff. Well, he has a king archetype. So in him, he wants to delegate everything, right? And everyone's a little bit lower than him in his like perspective. He's an amazing guy, but because that archetype right now is being really up front and center, it's difficult for me who is not like I don't have that archetype. So that energy isn't resonating. I'm more like, whoa, for me, I'm feeling like boundaries um because mine are different, and that's okay. So when you know yours, you then can also recognize everyone else's archetype and where they're showing up. And then what happens is people can communicate differently.
yeah,
That's when you can really have that soul to soul communication and contact, because it's like, oh, I see you. I see you where you're at. I see you where you're hurting, and I see how you're showing up in that, and it's okay. I can give grace there because I recognize it, right? So
yeah,
note too, on a side note, the archetype class is starting up in March. So there'll be more of that coming if you're interested. But yeah, knowing your archetypes is such a powerful way to get to know you and to live a very empowered life, because you can say, oh, this is showing up because of this. And how can I balance that out with this archetype in me? Right?
right, right. And I
Yeah.
think it's so juicy. And like, whether it's my women's tantra class or my intro to tantra class that I teach with my partner, and it's a co-ed couples or non-couples space that we're starting up again here in March. I can't believe I feel like it's almost March.
It is. It's like February 8th. Like, where did the month already? Oh, it's the 9th. Oh my
It's the
gosh.
ninth. So we're starting the Intro to Tantra class on March 11th. And it's once again, it's like understanding all of you, right? If we can look at our life with all of these beautiful different facets, yes, we have business and career, but we also have fun and play, and we also have our health and wellness, and we also have our spiritual development, and we also have our sexuality. And we have so many different areas of life. And oftentimes we pour into one of those cups more than the others. And oftentimes
Yes.
that's business. We have to be in survival mode to pay the bills so that we can, have a roof over our head. It's very survival root chakra. And it's like, but what about all these other places and spaces? What does the culture tell us about them? And so often, like forever, I believe like having fun was a waste of time. You have to be productive. Those were my limiting beliefs, the way I was raised. Money doesn't grow on trees. And then I switched it into the more fun and play I have, the more energy I have to give to my business, right? And so when we work with Tantra, yeah, we're going to focus in on our sexuality, but so much of that intro to Tantra class is how do we do the somatic work? How do we communicate? How do we have sacred space so that we can communicate with our partners about our bodies, about these sensitive areas? How do we be intimate? And how do we breath, sound, move to really examine where's the energy in our body and how does it move? How does it want to move? And so it's a really fun class to get a taste of tantra with clothes on and really beautiful conversations. And so I'm really looking forward to that one too. But yeah, it's about like honoring all of us. And I see so many people in the world that because sex is taboo, that they've resisted it or pushed it away or don't want to look at it. And it's like, but you are born sexual, you die sexual. Like this is part of life. And so how are we denying ourselves the fullness of life if we're denying this aspect?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I think that feels like wrapping that all the way, like being full circle of, like what I was saying, what we were talking about is what is being offered is when you can tune into all of it, your sexuality, your sensuality, your mind, your heart, your body. We're not denying any aspect of ourselves.
Yes.
And for so long, I think we deny our desires and our joys and our happiness because it's somewhere we were taught, if so, you're being conceited, you're stuck on yourself. It becomes very limiting, right? And so when we limit ourselves and we play small, there's this piece of us, our soul voice that's saying, hey, remember me? I made a plan here. Like we got things to do on this planet. And I think when that voice really starts to rise, that's when a lot of people start getting into like their midlife crisis. They really start recognizing, look at how much time I have wasted worrying about such insignificant things, what felt big at the time. But when you look back, you go, man, like how many times do you look at a picture and you go, I felt so fat, ugly, unseen, unheard, unrecognized in that picture. And then you look back and you can see the beauty in you,
Mhm.
right? Like, do you know how many pictures I've wanted to delete? Because in the moment I'm like, And then I've saved them for whatever reason. And then I go back and I was like, oh, that's not even a bad picture. What was I seeing in the moment?
Right.
Because we're looking through this human lens at ourselves. And the more that we can tune in to who we truly are, we're going to see ourselves through this lens of we are beautiful. We are, great, magnificent people that are here to do this work through the soul lens. And instead we get trapped in, that 3D thinking. And this really is a platform to open up and just expand.
Yes. Yeah. And it comes back to where are we in constriction and where are we in expansion and how can we invite more expansion in? And oftentimes that expansion comes to finding those edges because we have to learn how, if we desire to expand beyond them, right? So much of our work is like we're doing the internal work of self-analysis, but we're also matching it with the somatic of going, your body is holding this trauma and what happens when we set it down.
Mhm.
I think this is so much of like the past, all of our regrets, all of our fears of abandonment or fears of rejection or fear of I'm not enoughness or whatever it may be. Like if we had backpacks on and we put all of our past in our backpack and we carry it with us, and it is the how we make all future decisions because we feel the load of all of that weight and go, do I need to be carrying this? Am I safe to let it go? Can I put it
Yeah.
down? And if I put it down, then what is my options? What's my opportunity ahead of me? And
Mhm.
that I love working with clients and students in that transition of like, yeah, I have been, my whole life has been in this lens of fear of abandonment. And so this is how I act in my relationships and how I don't have boundaries. And I am people pleasers because the worst thing that could possibly happen is that they leave me like my dad did when I was a kid or whatever it may be. Right. So we
Yeah.
hear these examples again and again. It's like, and watch when people take it off and choose, well, what do I want for myself? What do I want for my future? How can I tune into my higher version, my grandest version of who I am that is in an expansive state of energy? And how do they act? What choices do they make?
Yeah. With the analogy of like dropping the backpack or leaving your baggage behind, right? You always through free will can go back and pick that up,
Yeah.
but give yourself the opportunity to feel what life feels like by letting it go, letting those conditionings go, those thoughts go, and see what life introduces to you. Because again, coming back to frequency, when you are carrying the load of abandonment, as your example was, you're going to consistently bring and attract abandonment experiences. But if you can release that, the frequency within you will open and shift. And now you're going to bring in, stable relationships, stability in your life. You're not going to feel like people are going to leave you. You're going to feel more like stronger within yourself because you're not leaving yourself, right? So it's like we just open up. And so it's a really wonderful way just to say, okay, I'm going to leave that test it. I'm going to let that go for a little bit. See how long you can go without it. You
Right.
might find that you're just going to run the rest of your life without it. And it's great to be in that
Yes.
energy.
Yeah. And I find myself like, oh crap, I've picked up that damn backpack again.
Right?
Right. Like it happens all the time. Right. I'm like, oh,
When you're going to grab it, you're like, there it is. What the heck?
right. And so it's a process. It's a process because we're so used to carrying it with us to give ourselves grace when it's like, damn it, I did it again. I picked up the backpack. I'm carrying the weight of that. And now I have a choice. Do I keep
Yeah.
wearing it or do I set it down again? And so the longer you set it down, the stretches stretch out. right? And so it's
Yeah,
like
it
maybe
becomes easier.
it becomes easier and easier that you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing it again. I don't need to do that. I have a different choice that I can make here. And just having moving from the unconscious, I'm always carrying this. This is how I am. This is what I have to do because this is my past and there is no other way, to conscious awareness. I know this about myself and I'm rewriting my story. And so I'm going to create spaces in which I can put this down and notice when I pick it back up. And
Yeah.
that is where the somatic work comes in, right? We're having this, we're giving ourselves space to recognize, when am I picking it back up? What is my body telling me? Right? So we,
Hmm.
that mindfulness, that somatic work, and the shamanic practices really help you emphasize of, what do I need to do? It's learning how to do that shamanic journey, allowing the symbolism of the backpack, for example, to come in and show up and going, is this something I need to help? What are going to be the tools to help transform that? Am I going to empty out the contents and let it compost? Am I going to see myself with a sword and hack it to pieces? Like, what's going to help you visualize the end, that quote unquote energetic cord clearing of letting the
Hmm.
past go?
Yeah. And doing it, and when you are working with your shamanic journey work, you're doing it in a conscious way. So it's you're going through the process of the symbolism of the journey and then saying, yes, I am ready to let that go. And then you can. And like you're saying, like there's so many elements that can show up for you, so many ways of doing it. Are you going to burn it? Are you going to bury it? Are you going to cut it, chop it up? But it's going to be what resonates with you. So,
Yes.
how I release my past might be completely different than the way you're releasing yours. But the energetic blueprint of that is the same. Because once you release it, you really can say that is a done deal forever, right? It's a new contract I've created. It's a new blueprint. I'm rewriting my story, like you said. So, you get to release that. Now, if you choose to pick it back up, that's totally on you. But
Yeah.
once you recognize it, you can go, you know what? Nope. Like you said, I'm doing it
Let it
again.
again.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to release it again and release it again because you're going to keep seeing the same cycle showing up in your life and until you're done with it. And it
Right.
might just show up in a different body, in a different situation with a different voice, but it's the same experience, the same lesson that keeps spiraling back until you have completely learned it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so energetically, it looks like, wow, it was a big fucking cord in the beginning and I released it and it was a really hard and I did the work. And then when you feel like energetically, I picked it back up, it's smaller. The cord,
Hmm.
the energetic cord itself is thinner. It's like and eventually it becomes like a wisp of a thing where it's like, oh, I
Yeah,
can
it's
just,
just so much lighter.
it's like you
Yeah.
can just wave it away. Like, oh yeah, there's that again. I see you and I'm letting you go now. Right. And so it's like
Mhm.
doing that work and that process can be so life transformative because you are freeing yourself.
Absolutely. And when you're doing the journey, there are versions, there's parallel universes, there's multiple timelines, right? So there's versions of you, like if you're leaving a toxic relationship or a toxic job or anything like that, there's a version of you that is still in that toxicity, that is still being possibly abused or possibly being siphoned at work or whatever. When you do that journey work and you set that intention of show me all the areas that need to be cleared and healed and released, you will find those versions of you. And then you can be the rescuer. You come in and you rescue yourself and you pull yourself out of that toxic relationship or away from that person or the situation. And literally, you just like embody this full being, like you're pulling back all of your pieces, which is the soul retrieval. But when you're doing it, you're reconnecting the fragments of yourself. And so this is what we do, like, and once you learn it, you know it. And literally you just sit in your journey work and say, show me what I need to see, what pieces do I need to call back?
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think this is why, it's, I love what we do. I love how
Yeah,
we teach. I love the way we show up because it's all through this lens, and trust that every single person has the availability to shift and change their life.
every single
Everyone.
person. Yeah.
And I love that. I love that that is our framework, that we don't need to deny aspects of ourselves. We can be the fullness of who we are. We can sit with our emotions. We can have the self-awareness of where is that coming from? What needs to be shifted? How can I heal myself? How can I reparent myself? How can I recognize my patterns and my weaknesses and find them their strength again? And so we've got things coming up. So just know that we have our Mystic Moon Collective group that's meeting weekly on Thursday afternoons, early evening, and we're rotating through like developing intuitive skills through tarot, through Reiki shares, through shamanic journey work, through sacred conversations. If that is of interest, you're going to find the link in the show notes. Know that, as Shantel said, that she is offering her Archetypes class once again. I'm so excited for her. That's going to be offered on March 2nd. So that's coming right up. And if you're interested in the Tantra, my partner and I, Jim McDonald, is going to be doing another 5-week master class series on the Intro to Tantra. We also are in conversations. We've had some potential students reach out interested in Soul Rising for offering that this spring. So if that is something of interest to you, if you really want to do the deep dive, and this is it, this is it. Mm-hmm. Soul Rising is the key, so that you aren't the same person that starts the program. You're just not.
No.
So
no. And we also have the second part of the facilitator program coming up, which is going to be doing ceremonies. So facilitating ceremonies in sacred spaces.
Yes. So we have a lot of things happening in the spring. We want to invite you into all the places and spaces that are going to help you feel more alive, more ecstatic, more whole, more expanded version of you. So feel into what resonates, and feel free to reach out to us for more information. I'll put as many links in the show note as we have thus far. And if you have questions, reach out.
Yeah. And always go to our Facebook and scroll through, because we post them there too. So, bring your questions, bring your conversations, whatever, bring it to our Facebook so we can also be a part of this conversation. We can always expand it there as well.
Absolutely. Well, until next time, I hope you have a beautiful week. Enjoy yourself. Find those places and spaces that light you up and do those activities. Make it a commitment. Tune into your body. Take that 5 minutes to do a heart drop and see what your body has to say for you. Okay?
Yes. Love yourself more.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon.